Governor Perdue recently made a visit to Fayetteville to announce proposed new incentives for small businesses. We were there to hear her comments, and we want to share them with you as we all work together to keep North Carolina strong.
You've heard me say over and over again that once we stabilize North Carolina's economy, and we have just been told that we've kept our AAA bond rating, and that's really important for the state. We have balanced the budget, and we are structurally fine now. And so the singular focus, after we have finally stabilized North Carolina, has to be now on jobs, jobs, and more jobs. And if you think about jobs in North Carolina, if the Secretary of Commerce were here, he would tell you that as a team, he and I are an absolutely fabulous, energetic, committed, jobs-hunting team. We will go anywhere, we will make any call for any business, small or large, to recruit them or to help them grow in North Carolina. But you can't just get to where we need to go by trying to recruit new companies. You've got to focus on what has made this state so strong and so good, and that's our small business economy. The stores and the shops and the restaurants that line this very active, robust city are small businesses. And in our state, more than 2/3 of the workers work for small business. So when we think about how we bring down the unemployment rate, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, General, to know that you've got to focus on small business. And I believe that we are the first team in the state's history to do that this aggressively. Last year, as we did the budget, I kept seeing silos of activity and economic development engines around small business, but they were spread all over North Carolina's state government. And it just made such sense for us to break down those silos and have one person in charge, so that if something doesn't work, we'll know who to go to, and if something needs fixing, we'll know who to go to. The man that I trust to make small business robust in North Carolina is Scott Daugherty. He is North Carolina's Small Business Commissioner. When you need something, you call him. I signed an executive order about 6 weeks ago that gave North Carolina small businesses preference for state contracts for goods. Now let me tell you what I mean. If you are a North Carolina small business, up until now, you could bid on the contracts all you wanted to do, but chances are the big boxes from out of state or some other big supplier of pencils or erasers or kitchen sinks or hospital beds, all of the stuff that we, the taxpayer, pay for to make state government and schools and hospitals work, is usually contracted to some other company, and that other company is usually out of state. And I think, and I believe the General Assembly will support me, I'm asking them to make this executive order law, and that's why I have them here, and that's why I want you to help encourage them to do this. We are asking the General Assembly to make law that if you're a North Carolina small business, and if you bid on a contract, and if you get the call from state contracting, well, you didn't quite make it, you were 5% higher than the lowest bidder, and the law says, and it does say it now, I found a way around it with the executive order, it says that I have to award the contract to whoever the lowest bidder is. We're giving North Carolina businesses a second bite of the apple. We're letting you come back and we'll tell you what the low bid was, and if you can get your price down to the low bid, we will give you the contract so your business stays here. And I want the General Assembly to help me then ratify that executive order, and also to pass what I have called the Jobs Now package. If you go to Fayetteville Tech, you can see Jobs Now in display. We have taken some of the federal recovery dollars and we have sent money to every community college in North Carolina, where we have helped them identify the 12 careers or occupations that are red hot or lukewarm. They're at least hiring some people in every single individual community college system service area in the state. So Fayetteville Tech's business community, working with the mayor and others, know where it is your folks can go to get jobs. And your wonderful community college is now training anybody who walks through the door. We're paying for their training. We can educate them in 12 career fields. They pick the field, we pay for it. We have expedited the training to 6 months. We have changed the licensing and certification so they can get certified to go to work in whatever the field is in 6 months. It's called 12 and 6. It makes sense. We've had our first graduates, and we're seeing people go to work in North Carolina in fields they never dreamed about holding before. It's important to do some innovation. These jobs, these unemployed folks in our state don't give a flip who's a Democrat or who's a Republican. They expect us all to pitch in and help them to find a job. And the only way we can find a job is to encourage the General Assembly to help us do some different things. So, as I walked around this beautiful town, Tony, this afternoon, I saw a community that looks very different than it looked 10 years ago. I saw a business like yours, Diane, with an art gallery and books flourishing. I saw the Rainbow Room. I saw Homes Electric, and I dropped some money in those stores because they're alive and robust. But you know, there's no doubt that small businesses are hurting, and there's no magic wand, and none of us have any, that can make it all go away. And so we need to do more for small business, and that's what I'm asking the General Assembly to do. I'm asking them to put some tax relief, some tax incentives in place so that small business owners can do what they need to do, and that's create jobs and keep people working. I'm sending to the General Assembly a list of 150 boards and commissions. I'm asking them to repeal 30 of them, maybe 50 of them. This session will be very controversial. We want to save money and get rid of things that we simply don't need, that we needed back in the 80s and 90s and early part of this century. We're going to have some money as a result of all that restructuring. And with those resources, I believe we need to invest them in the things that we know that will make small business healthier. And one of them is a tax incentive. If I provide an employee in my small business health insurance, then for goodness sakes, for a little bit of time, let's give that small employer at least a $250 tax credit. That's exactly what we should be doing. We're going to create a new buyer supply network for North Carolina so that if you're a small business and you need advice or you need goods and services for the first time, you're going to have an electronic database that helps you secure them at the same cost as other big buyers from small North Carolina companies. The problem I hear about most often as I listen to businesses is that there is just no capital. The banks have stopped lending. What am I going to do? I've got good credit, but they're calling my loans. I can't make it another year like this. And the partnership that Lieutenant Governor is leading that will continue to help put money on the streets of North Carolina for small businesses is really important in providing that kind of capital for North Carolina. I'm asking the General Assembly to help me set aside millions of dollars, any contract in the state that's for less than $500,000. We would arbitrarily mandate that that contract would go with a preference to a North Carolina small business. I think we have to do that. You've got a governor who understands that the economy of North Carolina is powered by small businesses and by people like you in this room. And I'm asking the state to step up for the first time in history and put the small business of North Carolina at the head of the food chain on doing business with the people of North Carolina. Thank you.